Jordan Peterson says that you need to become a monster and then you need to be able to control it. I don't know if you've watched Jordan Peterson. I've watched a couple of his things. I'm not as much as I used to, but I used to watch a bunch of his stuff. Started reading his first book, 12 Rules for Life. I'm still going through that. And he's an interesting guy. And if you're a guy on self improvement, I think Jordan Peterson can help you out in a lot of different ways. And one thing he always says is, in order to like truly become the man you want, you need to become a monster so you can control it. And I thought about this for a second, and I know some people don't like when he says that. Why do you need to become a monster? Well, because unless you know you're capable of these things, then how can you control, how can you say that, oh, I'm this upper echelon of man when you haven't even been able to control like your demons and stuff? So let me put this for an example. Let's say there's a guy, John. John. Okay? John is a man who isn't great with women. And he proclaims that let's say he's a Christian. I'm going to wait till marriage to have sex. Okay, but John can't get women to begin with because he's awkward and no girl or a very little amount of women would actually want to sleep with him in the first place. Okay? And then there is, let's say, Tom. I don't know. Tom, on the other hand, realizes that he, um, sorry, not realizes that let's say he's a Christian too, and he's waiting till marriage. But he gets an abundance of women. Girls like him, he's charismatic, he's strong, he's making a lot of money with side hustles, and once he graduates, he's going to become a lawyer at a big law firm. There's two differences in that scenario. Although John might say, "Oh, I'm not gonna sleep with any women until I'm married." Well, you really can't. So how do you know that you're not gonna do that? Tom, on the other hand, he can, and he has the options to. So, and he doesn't do it though. He's still waiting till marriage. That is way more impressive. You need to get to that point where you at least have the option to do evil. You have the capability of destruction and violence. That's what being a man is. Not a emotional man who just fights everyone and picks a fight with anyone that gets him mad because that is emotional, that is feminine. But you want to have that capability of doing it. How can I preach as let's say I'm a guy who I can preach that I'm not a man of violence. I'm a high value man. I would never do that. But you can't get in a fight because you're too scared to anyway. And you know you're gonna lose. So you want to have the capability of doing something bad in order to truly not be able to do it. It's like if you were gonna kill. Let's say you went crazy. Let's do a less morbid example. Let's say you're in a relationship. You have a wife, let's say, and you're gonna cheat on your wife. But then your wife finds out and puts a gun to your head and says, "You better not cheat on me," and you don't cheat. Okay. So did you do the right thing? Well, not really, because you were gonna do it anyway. You were gonna do it anyway. The only thing stopping you is that you can't physically do it or you die. So there's a difference between that and you have a wife and you're gonna cheat with another woman, but you realize, okay, I'm actually not gonna do this on your own will, and you just say no. You need the capability of doing bad things. I'm not saying to go out there and start becoming a bad person, but you want the capability of violence. You want the capability of becoming a monster, like Jordan Peterson says. You want the capability of doing bad things so you can control it, and that just makes you more of a high value man than rather than a guy who never ever does anything wrong or doesn't have the capacity to.